So partly for you, Jessica, to help you sort of catch up a bit with where we were yesterday, but just to remind us all, yesterday we started with the company which makes the laser equipment, demonstrating reasons why you need laser equipment, so showing factory roofs where sort of devastated by guano from seagulls nesting on it. And if you look at a place here, this is actually apparently a medical factory making medicines, and this is what's up on the roof. And this is from feral pigeons who are nesting on there. So the aim, and they point out, of course, that under the Wildlife Act, we cannot go shooting or killing the birds in these situations. We have to find humane methods, and the agri-laser, this laser technology, is a way of moving these birds on, and it's applicable to a whole range of industries and sites. So, and that was the sort of premise of this project. Can we do the same with ground-based animals? Then we heard from So then we heard from our one of our partners, well, three of our partners, Angel Camacho, and so they are one of the world's biggest growers of olives and suppliers of olives. They are suppliers to Tesco, and Philippe was telling us about how they are created a system amongst their farmers to monitor the compliance with pesticide-free olives, and making sure that products they sell meet these pesticide-free requirements through a whole sort of monitoring system and certification, and that way they can manage the pesticide-free supply of olives better than I can manage my speech at the moment. Then Then we had Ruth, who you met yesterday at dinner. So this we was all quite excited about, because Ruth, who basically has a big interest in badgers and works at the APHA around Woodchester Park. And here's Ruth. I'm doing a quick update, Ruth, so I'm trying to summarise a few of yesterday's slides. So, you know, they create lots of data, photographic data, of badgers, particularly, you know, they're interested in the badger dairy cattle interaction. And the question is when you've got all this data, how do you sort of work out when there's animals of interest? So they've developed with Sheffield University a neural network system which allows them to work through a frame, make measurements of a frame, and the system learns. So it's been shown thousands of images of badgers or something. So then it's looking through this new input, it spots things, works out there's an animal in this frame, and then identifies it as a badger. So in a matter of well, first of all, you can get some very good accuracy of identification, but it also reduces tasks which takes weeks down to hours, perhaps even minutes in some cases, and you can identify all your animals. So that was a sort of morning session, and then we had a quick afternoon session. So we had a quick
If you go onto the NAS drive.
Yeah. So we had a quick session. We had a couple of people who weren't able to speak yesterday. So Santi gave us a presentation about the use of drones in agriculture and worked through some of the sort of techniques you can use drones for mapping olive groves and how you can use that to then look at the quality of the growth of the crop. You can look at the topography. Again, you can come up with looking at sort of colour imagery and multispectral imagery, and you can get a map of how well your crop is, how well your land is, and how good it is at producing your crop product. And then Patricia stepped in to give us this presentation. So Patricia was looking at the ingress of metal pollutants into from mining. So this was in Aberystwyth. She was measuring concentration of leads and other elements along this river here, which finally flows out through Aberystwyth into the Irish Sea, and finding some very, very high levels of concentration. There was a point on this river, I can find the map here, I think this is it, is Patricia in the room, but this is Duck Point, and this is apparently where there's been a lady has lost lots of dogs to lead poisoning. So they've mapped all here, and what they're pointing out, there's a lot of problems where if you get like heavy rainfall, the river can flood. It can lift these heavy metals, deposit into ground, which might be otherwise cattle grazing ground, and that can have an impact. And then we finished with something I had to throw together, which was really just to sort of look at what you might do with lasers, and really to try and briefly say actually it's quite difficult to use lasers in agriculture. They tend to be expensive, and there tends to be sort of safety issues with them, using them out in the open field. But for instance, back in 2010, a guy who left Microsoft set up a company, and this is a still from a video where a mosquito is having its wings burned off. And it's not like it takes 10 minutes to set up and hold a mosquito school. This can be done in real time. This is the device up here, and this is looking at a cage on the other side of the room, and it's detecting mosquitoes and zapping them. And of course it sounds really intensive, but by 2020 that system's still not being used in practice because it's mostly too expensive. So so that's a quick update. That's what you missed yesterday. So Alex, thanks for waiting, and we'll leave you to find your presentation.